John Sutcliffe starts the game, and Fitzroy have a big breeze. Scott back in the team, taps down to Matthews, and there's a diving mark to Rick Davies, hardly forward of the centre. Quickly the handball on to Robertson. Into the breeze go Hawthorn, the ball holds up, right half forward for the Hawks. Taylor, number 33, and the ball goes out of bounds, and we'll have a throw in. Hawthorn at right half forward.
Hawthorn kicking against the breeze as Alexander and Scott, two big old toughies, come in to contest, and brilliant football by Laurie. Opportunity now for Hawthorn, picked up nicely and smothered from Parrish. Scott misses what he might have taken, gets a long hand pass out wide looking for Lethal Lee for kick number 2. He boots it along the boundary line, but it's easily taken by Taylor. Taylor back towards centre wing position, behind the pack. Hawthorn once again, Robertson kicks.
Towards centre half forward, Henry doubles back and takes the mark at centre half forward. John Henry, who started at full forward, that's where Peter Knights was named, but Knights is lined up at centre half back on Lewis. John Henry right in front, but 55 metres out into the breeze. The ball holds up, and a defensive mark is not taken there. Quickly the handball out to Hanson, who's kick up and down the one spot almost. Davies, if he'd taken that mark, it would have been dangerous. Fitzroy free kick. That was McCarthy, held when not in possession, and the ball's got to come way back to behind centre half back for Fitzroy for McCarthy to take his free against his old team. Gerald McCarthy. No score on the board as yet. The breeze ripping down the ground in Fitzroy's favour. You'd think they'd need to lead by about 6 goals at quarter time. In front, Mew. Drop the mark. Comes off to Parrish. Left foot kick to centre half forward. Rendell's there. Manane as well. It comes to the back. Russo the quickest to read it. Manane chases Russo right to the back pocket. Russo out of defence. Good pass. Oh, no. The breeze got hold of it and took it away from Mew and out of bounds in the back pocket. So we'll have a boundary throw in. Fitzroy in attack.
Rendell comes in to do battle with Kelvin Moore. Rendell wins it understandably, picked up by O'Halloran. And there's the fierce breeze. He got his foot onto the ball pretty well. It didn't really slew off the side, but it was the wind that took it over the line out of bounds, and the free kick will go to Fitzroy. It'll be taken by Lee Carlson, and Carlson got a pretty long wait, this ex-Collingwood player, before the ball is returned from the crowd. And from where he is, Lee Carlson, with his very immaculate left foot kicking, really could make the distance. He's kicking slightly into the breeze, so it'll be a very tough kick. Nice looking kick, it is very straight. It'll be just on the line, touched through. Well, an excellent effort by Lee Carlson.
It's going to be a difficult quarter for Hawthorn into this breeze. Kelvin Moore towards the outer side of the ground. Kennedy at the back, comes down to Matthews, tries to dodge around Conlon, just gets boot to ball. This should be a Fitzroy mark. Kennedy spoils, comes to the front, hurriedly forward from McConnell, goes to Conlon, and Conlon was too slow, was caught, and the umpire rules he was handballing away and was held when not in possession. It's a pretty interesting decision.
Yeah, I thought that was it. I thought he was tackled too late, even though he was selfish in his desires. And certainly that's what the umpires interpreted as.
So Michael Conlon, dead side of the ground over there, difficult pocket to score from, distance only 45 metres, and the breeze gets hold of it and takes it through for a behind.
There's the scoreboard, 2 points to Fitzroy. One of the great fullbacks of history, Kelvin Moore. Out wide, big pack. Hit down towards Robertson. Lots of trouble, nice safe marker taken by Smith. Smith on half-back flank, play on, says the umpire. Out wide it goes to Taylor. Taylor under pressure. Alexander, an awkward bounce, gathers well. Back it goes towards centre half forward. Matthews is there but can't take it. Hand pass goes out to Peter Knights from Russo. Peter Knights then boots it out to the boundary line, and chasing it is Kennedy, but can't reach it. Centre wing out of bounds, and Hawthorn doing well in the first 5 minutes.
Because every 5 minutes you can go without allowing the team with the breeze to kick a goal is valuable. Conlon. Not a good kick with the wind. Knights will mark on his chest. Right half back. Good to see Peter Knights back in league football. Lasted a game last week. For the first time in the season. Quinlan's there, but Wallace takes a fine mark in front of the pack. On centre wing for the Hawks. Outer side. Low kick into the breeze. All Fitzroy and the defensive mark to McCarthy.
They've taken McCarthy. Back where it's Lewis and Knights. Knights spoils. Here's a chance for McMahon. O'Halloran gathers and loses it. Tackle by Poynton. Manane to McMahon. McMahon, a flying shot, is out of bounds. Well, McMahon was the true brute man of the Fitzroy side last week, and his first snap was very badly off direction.
Very difficult for a fullback into this breeze, because he could put everything into it and kick it only 35 metres. If Fitzroy marked, it would be a simple shot for goal. That's exactly what it's doing, holding up. Alexander from the back. Knights. Oh, off the side of his boot, out of bounds on the full, and the free kick will go to Bernie Quinlan. And I was mentioning, if it landed in the arms of a Fitzroy forward with this breeze, it could be a chance, and it couldn't be in better arms than Bernie Quinlan's. 50 metres from goal. Letting the breeze do the work, shepherding in the goal square, and it bounces through just for a behind. That was pretty well done by Matt Rendell.
Moore again with the breeze against him, or against his side as well, of course. He'll have lots of work in this term. Out wide he goes. Behind it's almost Hanson. Kick is smothered, hits it off the ground. Scott brilliantly out to Ablett. Ablett flies off away, boots it downfield. Hendry outmanoeuvred by McCarthy once again. Hendry recovers well and takes it over the line out of bounds.
Scott and Alexander. Comes down to Conlon. Over centre wing he goes. Tapped to the back by McMahon. Here's a chance. Gathered by Parrish. Left foot centering kick. Good defensive mark to Chris Mew. It's Poynton. Down there in the forward line. Mew beat him to it. Goes towards the outer side. Wallace goes from the back. Didn't get first touch. Quickly the handball to O'Halloran. And the Hawks out of trouble with handball. Through Ablett.
And here's a chance for Conlon, with strength out wide to the centre wing, picked up by McMahon. McMahon, a long driving kick, but he's slightly off direction once again. And Fitzroy frittering away opportunities at the 8-minute mark. They've had 4 sorters forward. They've kicked 4 behind, not yet a major.
Kick towards the outer side. Alexander there for Fitzroy. Well, heaps of players there. Comes to the front and will be a baller. Because really Fitzroy would need a goal on an average of about every 5 minutes. 8 minutes gone, no goals yet. Robertson, centre wing. Oh, good mark. To the one and only Michael Tuck on centre wing. Hardly anybody in Hawthorn's forward zone, and what a defensive mark by McConnon, who was dashing back in defence, propped and copped and marked about a centimetre above the grass.
That was a beauty. DiPdomenico pushed his opponent out. Mew very safe and reliable. Kicker smothered. Chris Lewis, Rod Lewis out to Conlon. Conlon a left foot snap for goal, and again off direction, and that's Conlon's second behind. And I'm sure that Robert Walls will be very, very worried that Fitzroy are losing very valuable opportunities.
That's a beautiful kick by Moore. Big pack, no mark. Comes to the back to Wallace. His kick holds up. Drops short of Robertson. Robertson taps out wide. Puts Wallace under the hammer. Comes off Taylor, in fact, and goes out of bounds. Robert Walls looking a little bit concerned at the 10-minute mark in the first quarter because Fitzroy haven't scored a goal yet with a gale.
Well played, Tuck. Brilliant football. Absolutely superb football. Give it to Hendry, says Hendry. Tuck says, I'll have a long one for goal. and he's put it one behind. And how close it was. He deserved it. He really richly deserved it for the best solo effort of the match. I think he was right in playing on. Through for one behind as McCarthy kicks out to Parrish. Parrish marks on half-back flank. In front of the members, goes racing forward. With his left foot, kicks it down towards the half-forward line. In comes Rendell. Moore misses one. Here comes Poynton. Conlon once again in everything, but the ball will beat him over the line, and Fitzroy have swung into attack.
Rendell in ruck. Knocks to Matthews, who is caught by Conlon and then slips the tackle. Half volley for Alexander. Socket away by Scott, who's using boots, elbows and everything in good vigour. Umpire Sutcliffe comes in and will call it up. Fitzroy in a scoring zone.
In comes Scott. Up goes Lewis with him. Carlson, brilliant football. McConnell, look out. Dodges brilliantly around Russo. Left foot snap and puts it through. Great football by Carlson. The two wingers cooperated perfectly that time. Both imports, of course. Carlson from Collingwood and McConnell from Carlton. Got across to McConnell when McConnell finished it off in most spectacular style as he dodged Russo very cleverly and a left foot snap put it through.
Scott wins this tap. Davies a handball back to Manane. Peter Manane for Hawthorn. A kick forward of about 20 metres. Scott drops the mark but was infringed. Pushed in the back. Will take a free kick and he's injured, Don Scott. Having spent 2 games in the reserves, he comes back to play his 298th game and is in line to become the 1,000th player to reach 300. But Scotty's injured in the first quarter. Looks as though he might have hit the ground very hard and broken a finger or done something to his hand.
If he's hurt, he's really hurt because he's one who disguises injury well as Ablett boots it forward. Well marked in front. Beautifully marked by McCarthy, playing very well. Hanson under pressure. Out towards the half-back flank and Conlon comes in once again. Punched away from him. Carlson outmanoeuvred and well played Russell Green. Davies is with the ball, Greens to take a free kick, or Davies downfield, onto Howard. Howard shoots it high in the air, right across the ground, tucks the chance. Well played, Chris Smith. Henry shoots for goal, and up goes Matthews. Oh, he almost took it. If ever there was a gallant effort, that was it, and there's Scotty on his feet.
Injury to Scott could actually be in the ribs rather than his hand. Now Hawthorn into attack for only the second time in the match into the breeze. McCarthy's handball is a bit dangerous. It's taken away by Wallace's grab. Picked up by Tuck, snap for goal. And it floats across the face of goal. Still in the field of play. Still Hawthorn a chance. Matthews. Smothered and the ball goes out of bounds in the right forward pocket. Desperate defence by Fitzroy and they needed it badly.
Yes, two great teams in desperation. That time Davies a good leap. Left footer high in the air that time, was well off direction, out of bounds. I think it was Ablett, but it's out of bounds anyhow. Grant Laurie to take the free kick. Laurie, the long lean one.
Out of sight of the ground, Serafini's there, outnumbered about 3-1. Picked off the ground by Ablett. Good kick into the teeth of the breeze to the forward pocket. Davies is there, comes to the front, well gathered Matthews. Great football, Lee Matthews, steadies, right foots it, nobody there for Hawthorn, and it's gathered by Laurie. Out of defence up towards the wing. Di Domenico hasn't had a touch, overruns this one. Here comes Conlon. Great football, Mark Conlon. In front, Knights. He's with Lewis. McMahon going for the shepherd on Knights, finished up getting a boot to the ball. Peter Knights has a friendly word with David McMahon. The ball goes out of bounds. And Knights shaking his head, looking at Ian Robinson, saying, what about a free there?
Yes, he went for Lee and not the ball. Played Scott. Played Knights to Wump. Scott again out to Howard for his first kick. It'll be a hand. Well plugged. Caught. Well done. Out to Wallace. Wallace down to the half-forward line looking for Davies. Great position. Davies disputes it, pushed by Alexander, picked up by Tutta Manane. Manane has turned onto his right foot, then gets a left footer downfield, and Lee Matthews in front position. Look at him. Look at him for strength, but there's a free kick. No, it's a mark. Clever play to Russell Green. What a strong player is Matthews. That's his 7th kick in a tough, torrid first quarter. The sort of stuff that Matthews revels in, and that was a magnificent mark. At the 15-minute mark, it's Green from about 15 metres out, kicks and misses. A very bad miss. Domenico and Conlon having a go behind the play, about centre wing.
Kick by McCarthy. What a great lead by Quinlan, but he gets a bad bounce. Here's Di Domenico now. Quinlan grabs him. The handball a bit wild. Taken by Ablett, who bursts through 2 of them. Goes for goal from the attacking side and just misses.
McCarthy. Looking for Manane, who hasn't had a kick yet. This time he will. Good strong mark. Hand passes, but very, very badly to Howard. Howard gets his first kick eventually. Boots it downfield. All Fitzroy and Smith takes it beautifully. Tons of courage and tons of strength.
Chris Smith at centre half back. Over the centre. Fine mark taken by Poynton. Fitzroy's forward line open. Rendell leads, but the kick with the wind went too far, and Rendell's opponent, Kelvin Moore, stayed back to take a comfortable mark. Bernie Quinlan dragged back on the mark. Kelvin Moore up towards centre half back.
Excellent kick. Oh, great leap, Davies. Wonderful leap. He's been very impressive in this first term. Another great hand pass out to Manane. Manane down towards Kennedy. Kennedy might take a free kick against Laurie that time. Umpire says no, he propped into him. It'll be thrown in at centre wing position.
And Davies with a big leap again, but knocks it straight in the path of Laurie. And now it finds the chest of Russell Green. Quickly on to Peter Manane. His left footer is a beauty into the breeze. Henry leading at half forward in front of McCarthy, who's beaten him so far. Henry soccers away. McCarthy, look at the pace of Michael Conlon. He has come from nowhere to gather that ball. Down the boundary line. Mew, a great mark to Chris Mew. Juggling the ball in the breeze and gathering it before it hit the floor. Magnificent mark. And now a 15-metre penalty against Poynton, who got over the mark, and Mew to a true centre wing.
That's Mew's second sensational mark in this first term. Awkward kick looking for Tuck, and Chris Smith takes another wonderful mark. Out it comes to Taylor. Taylor then thumps a good 70-metre one. Peter Knights are in position. Hits it away from Quinlan with a tremendous punch that time, and it's out of bounds on the half-forward flank with Fitzroy in attack. The scoreboard, Fitzroy 1-5, Hawthorn 3 behind.
And Knights again. This time he knocks it straight into the hands of Parrish. Parrish's kick out of bounds in the forward pocket. Fitzroy finding it difficult to score even with the breeze. I think this might yet be a trend of the game, because even though you come with a big gale at your back, it's partly across the ground as well. Difficult to kick with it and against it. Meanwhile, Hawthorn come out of defence and work the ball pretty well up towards centre wing, and we'll have a throw-in.
Scott and Davies is the leaper once again. Thornton fights for it and does it well. Conlon yet another kick. Down it goes McMahon from behind. Oh, strong stuff. Just missed it. And the umpire will ball it up, as that was Conlon's 8th kick, and Lee Matthews has also, or Lee Matthews has had 7.
Tuck, clean possession. Chris Smith takes it away from him. The kick to half forward. Mew gets in front, almost takes his 3rd good mark. Off his chest it goes to O'Halloran. His kick holding up on the breeze. And a fine mark taken here by the wingman Howard. Glenn Howard. He's at left half-back.
Looking for Davies. It's Tuck who got there first. Down goes Green. Davies, excellent football to Wallace. Wallace down to Robertson. Robertson brilliantly spoiled by Smith. Here comes a chance for Robertson again. On the boundary line, straight to Smith it goes. Smith back towards the boundary line. Nice play, Taylor, and taken by Green. Green then boots them into attack. Robertson yet another opportunity. Serafini tackled by Matthews, breaks the tackle, caught by Ablett, caught again, boots across the ground, and it's going to be Robertson against Laurie. Laurie's got there easily in front and turns and puts them out of danger.
Laurie to half-back, gathered on the first bounce by McMahon, whose hurried kick goes straight into the crowd. That was nowhere near staying in. So it's been a frustrating first quarter for Fitzroy, and they haven't handled the breeze all that well. Kennedy, spoiled by Alexander, interfered with by Alexander. Free kick, John Kennedy. Right half forward, goes for the short pass to the pocket. Matthews is there. Spoiled by McCarthy, the ball goes out of play.
It was a good spoil, wasn't it, Tim? McCarthy be dying to do well against his old team, who discarded him, and he certainly showed the brilliant skipper what he can do then. Davies again with a wonderful leap, but it's sharked by Conlon. Conlon downfield. Knights will take the big jump and thumps it away. Gives a chance to Wallace. Wallace takes 2 bites at it out to Scott. Scott then boots down towards the half-forward line. Behind the packets, Matthews fighting as usual. Dives at it with Chris Smith. And eventually the umpire, in the person of John Sutcliffe, will bounce him.
22 minutes gone in the first quarter. There's been only 1 goal in the match so far. Davies got hands to it. Comes away to Chris Smith. To half-back. Wallace takes a good mark. He's a difficult man to keep quiet in the centre. Terry Wallace. Right half forward. 5th kick. In front, McCarthy marks. Been a good defender. Oh, that's a bad handball, though. Laurie taps out to Conlon, who's approaching double figures of kicks. Unmarked is Carlson. Couldn't grab the mark. Off his hands, it goes out of bounds on centre wing.
McCarthy and Smith have played very well at centre half-back and full-back. Scott and Serafini. Russell Green has a great opportunity. Well tackled that time by Carlson. Back to Scott. Lightning hand pass to Manane. Manane across, intercepted by Lewis. Back it goes towards Thornton. Thornton's got 2-1 against him. He's pushed into the ground. Should have got a free kick. Picked up by Ablett. Out to Matthews. Matthews will mark. He does not miss. He was going to go on. Oh, he looked to strength his way out of that one. But Matthews will shoot for goal. A long way against the breeze. He makes the distance, but kicks it hurriedly and badly. It's through for 1 behind. Matthews been a tremendous, struggling, dynamic player.
Ian Payton preparing to come on at the 23-minute mark in the first quarter as Conlon marks and kicks again. Up to half-forward, Serafini. Too high for him. At the back, O'Halloran. Finds Howard. No, he doesn't find him, but he gathers on the first bounce. Russell Green now. Good kick into the breeze to full forward. Hendry and Matthews both there. Off the hands to McCarthy. And the umpire ruled he had first touch, and so took the mark.
Brilliant game by McCarthy. Another foolish hand pass. Puts them under pressure, does McConnell. Kicked off the ground by Hanson. Well played Howard as he loses the run of it. Look at Conlon. Caught. In comes Payton for the first time. Payton's kick is smothered too. It is really very fierce football. Thornton's with it. Down it goes to the half-forward line. Quinlan and Knights. Knights got there first. Here's McMahon. Kelvin Moore. Moore onto his left foot. Boots it out of danger temporarily. And Manane. Awkward bounce. Follows on. Will shoot for goal. And kicks it through. Beautiful football, Lee Manane. And a very important goal to Fitzroy because it's just in time on and they've only kicked 2 majors and certainly it's a 5-goal breeze. 2 goals, 5, 17 points to Fitzroy and Hawthorn 4 points. There's Matthews coming onto the ball. Don Scott
Scott, interchange for Ian Payton, just approaching time on. Lewis on the ball now for Fitzroy. Wins possession against Payton, who got nowhere near it. Conlon has played an amazing first quarter. Here he is down towards the forward pocket. Dippia Domenico beats him to it. Could have been holding the ball almost. Here's Green. Green will take a free kick.
Yes, Green's to take the free against the acting captain today in Serafini. Kick number 6 to Green. Davies surrounded by players, a good leap. In comes Payton. Tackled, played, tuck. Left puts it back into the danger zone against Fitzroy, out towards Matthews. Matthews misses the run of it. Tuck misses it too. Well played. Oh, too quick was the hand pass to Wallace. Wallace high in the air through McCarthy. McCarthy left puts it downfield. O'Halloran and Alexander. Alexander pushed by Payton. Will take the free kick.
Quickly he goes on to Parrish. Good kick with the breeze by Parrish. Just off the fingertips of Moore. Pointing at the back. It's rolling, but will miss.
Oh, that was close. It was only an excellent tackle by Mule that stopped Poynton having uninterrupted flow to goal. 2 goals, 6 of Fitzroy, and Hawthorn 4 points. Moore's kick out wide, looking for Payton. Payton hits over the back. Nice play out to Ablett. Ablett's left footer doesn't cover much distance. Oh, gallant mark that time by Parrish. Very, very strong and brave.
In the centre of the ground. Fitzroy would hope to kick another couple of goals. Conlon put his boot right in the middle of Robert Dippia Domenico and took a screaming mark. He's taken 5 marks. Sorry, that's his 2nd mark and coming up for his 11th kick. A magnificent first term to Michael Conlon. 55 metres out. Breeze takes hold of it and swings it away for another behind. So he's kicked 3 behinds, and Fitzroy badly need goals in this quarter. I wouldn't back them to be in front at half-time.
This has been a super quarter by Conlon. Moore. Oh, look at the breeze pulling it down in front. McMahon had the chance. Punched away cleverly by Robertson. And it's out of bounds. It's a very, very strong breeze, and Fitzroy have not done well enough.
Rendell and Payton, it comes to the back. Matthews on the ball now, hurried left footer, touched off the boot. Half back, Peter Manane, handball straight to the opposition. Hansen, over his shoulder he goes. Rendell's there, comes to the front to McMahon. Quinlan now, hurriedly. Out to Poynton, who centres the ball. It swings back with the breeze. An amazing goal. Michael Poynton, an impossible goal. 5 of the 6 points will go to the wind.
I was going to say 5 points to Poynton, 5 to the wind. Yep. He slung his foot at it. High in the air it went from a hurried snap, and the breeze did the rest. It pulled it back about 45 degrees. Extraordinary goal. Absolutely amazing. Payton and Lewis are the contestants. Lewis won it easily. Down it goes towards Kelvin Moore. Picked up by Dippia Domenico. He then kicks it back towards centre wing. Lost that time by Hansen. Kennedy a long hand pass looking for Ablett. Against Ablett, I thought. Umpire says play on as Laurie picks it up. To McMahon. McMahon takes the mark.
David McMahon from left half forward. Right towards the goal square, Alexander! And right on the siren for quarter time, Ron Alexander outmarks Kelvin Moore. Fitzroy have managed only 3 goals with the breeze. Alexander a chance to make it 4-7 at quarter time, and I doubt whether that's still enough. He should goal and does.
Go with umpire Robinson, and Donald Scott and Ron Alexander, and Alexander wins it. Robertson sharks it out to Knights. Knights under pressure, kicks it towards the boundary line, and for the 2nd time boots it out of bounds. And that was really a careless, indiscriminate kick from a champion. That should not happen. McConnon with the ball.
Good kick by McConnon into the breeze on a fine mark to Di Domenico. Right half back for Hawthorn. To centre wing, Chris Smith at the back. Too much carry. Alexander. His kick touched off the boot. Bounces for Quinlan. Taken well there by Thornton. His kick drops short of Lewis. But Lewis has time to recover. Is grabbed by O'Halloran. Quinlan takes a fine mark.
Quinlan then drives a pass out wide looking for Rendell. Carlson gets it punched away by Howard. Wallace overruns it. Now Rendell's got the chance in the centre of the ground. Over the top of him goes his opponent. That was Di Domenico, and the free kick will go to Matt Rendell.
To half forward, McMahon's there. Couldn't quite take the mark. Comes to the front of Parrish. Blind hand pass. Partly intercepted by O'Halloran, but eventually grabbed by McMahon. High kick to the forward pocket. Knights judged it well through the air and marks in the last line of defence. But straight away, Fitzroy in attack into the breeze.
Knights downfield. Missed badly by McCarthy. Lost it, did Green. Hand passed out by Serafini. Held a long time there. Free kick goes to Green. Now it's Russ Hendry. Downfield it goes. Looking for Lee. Oh, what a beautiful effort. It was almost played. Picked up by Smith. Out to Alexander is lost. Through comes Kennedy. Down he goes. 3-1 against him. Plays them all. Out to Scotty, and Scotty's with it. Hand passes to Howard.
Back it goes to Don Scott, who's showing some great toe. Kick to the forward pocket. Hanson hands to the ball. And if he didn't mark, he made sure it went out of play. And we'll have a throw-in. Similar position where Poynton kicked a freak goal in the first quarter. So it's possible to score from there with this breeze. Hanson knocks to Quinlan. His kick hasn't covered 10 metres. Marked by Green, but the mark not paid. Back to Howard. This should be Hawthorn's first goal. And just grazed the post. Through for a behind.
Well, we'll see now whether Hawthorn are going to waste their opportunities. Here comes Chris Hanson. Hanson, the long kicking man of the Fitzroy side, out looking for Alexander. Scott thumps it down. Green's got an opportunity, lost it. Appealing for the free kick there was Kennedy. Umpire Sutcliffe disagrees and decides he'll bounce it.
Alexander very early. Knocks it down to Hanson. His kick close to the boundary line. O'Halloran keeps the ball in. Gathered by Robertson. High kick with the breeze. Serafini back there for Fitzroy. And Matthews comes from the back. Snaps off the pack. Peter Manane grabbed right at the goal square. Picked up by Neville Taylor. And Fitzroy hurry the ball out of defence. Looked like a Hawthorn goal coming up. The whistle's gone here. Has he run too far?
Something against Tuck, I think. I thought he might have, but he didn't. Something against Tuck, and here comes Lewis. Good mark at centre wing. Oh, delaying tactics by Robertson. 15-metre penalty is the result of it. Lewis then drives it looking for Manane or Rendell. Rendell can't take it. Here comes Moore. Down goes Manane. And the umpire is giving all sorts of mysterious signals. The net result is that it'll be a free kick to Russo. Robertson's going on with all sorts of dramatics, now has a chat to the boundary umpire.
It's a throw-in. It's going to be a boundary throw-in after all.
Well, that took a lot of mucking around.
Rendell gets to the front, knocks to Parrish, left foot, up towards the forward pocket. Knocked out of the air by Poynton. Di Domenico ran into a brick wall in the name of David McMahon, and that'll be a ball up. Fitzroy have hurried and bumbled the ball forward fairly well in the opening 5 minutes of this second term. They lead 4-7 to 5 behind.
Well, David McMahon shown some pretty tough play here today. Well played, Scott. Picked up by Parrish. Kick is smothered. Knights is the thumper. Out wide it goes towards Howard. Great hand pass to Ablett. Ablett downfield, Bernie Quinlan's chance. Awkward one it was for him. Picked up by Smith. Excellent hand pass. No, it's not excellent. It's too long. And McConnell can't reach it. Out of bounds, centre wing in front of the grandstand.
Scott against Lewis. Scott wins, really throwing himself in today. Conlon tunnels it. McConnon, well done. Here's Peter Knights to take a mark, and he judges it so well through the air. Ball swirling about today.
Onto his left foot and down towards centre half forward. Serafini and Henry. Here's Smith, who's been a great centre half back again. Down it goes towards Lewis. Knights late on the scene, can't reach him.
Rod Lewis right near the centre circle. Up to half forward for Lee Manane. Russo, a good mark.
Russo now. Long down the centre. Smith again. Smith is absolutely killing Tuck. Drives it back towards where Lewis is the leaper. Knights with him. Picked up nicely by Poynton. Poynton out wide to Quinlan. Here's danger. Right it through. He's not called Super Boot for nothing. He drove it through, and Bernie Quinlan has been very quiet, but he maximises his opportunities and kicks a wonderful goal. And what's more, a goal against the breeze is a real bonus in today's conditions.
Bernie Quinlan's just got the first goal into the breeze for the game, and Fitzroy lead 37-5. We've played 7 minutes into the second quarter, and this is going to be a Fitzroy free kick taken by Thornton. Holds up in the breeze, but gets to half forward anyway. Knights! And Knights really playing with confidence, although he's made 2 mistakes kicking out of bounds on the full. He's going for the ball with great confidence.
Yes, that's his third mark for this term, and they've all been taken with the Peter Knights flair. Come on, Tuck, you need to do something for your side. He misses it. Well played, Serafini. Oh, a wild hand pass by Henry. After getting the ball well, was atrocious football. Picked up by Thornton. Thornton out in the direction of the brilliant Conlon. Wallace takes him on. Kicked off the ground by Dipper Domenico. Nice ball handling by Thornton once again. O'Halloran beaten by Lewis, and Lewis is off.
Good football by Rod Lewis, although his handball missed McMahon, intercepted by Knights. Now to Peter Manane. Manane's kick up towards centre half forward. Alexander underneath the ball, and the mark taken by Lee Matthews, who looked a bit troppy then. And Matthews, with the breeze at his back, might score from 50 metres out. Puts it high, and it is missed. Hawthorn haven't managed a goal as yet, and we've played 8 minutes into the second quarter. Fitzroy 5-7, the Hawks 6 behind.
I guess what's more important, they've had a goal kicked against the breeze by their opponents, Fitzroy. Hansen kicks out. Alexander's his target. Scotty's up above him. Well, no, he leaned on Alexander's shoulder. I thought he'd come down with the ball, and the free kick goes to Ron Alexander. Down the direction of Knights and Quinlan. This will be interesting. Neither could take it, and Lee Manane's underneath it all. He's tackled by Russo. Umpire says ball is held to Manane and will bounce it.
Looked like a mark to Manane, actually, low down. McCarthy goes in, wins the tap, close to the line, beats Laurie out of bounds. Fitzroy 37, Hawthorn 6, 9 minutes gone, second quarter. Quinlan and Scott. Hurried kick by Thornton back into the pack. And that will be another ball up.
Conditions could not be more difficult. A wind straight from the Arctic. No, it's north. Down it comes. Picked up brilliantly by Lee Carlson. Carlson boots it down. Russo again. Playing a splendid second turn. Drives it out looking for Russo. Eade. Rodney Eade has now got the ball. He will give a long one down towards that forward pocket. Alexander jumps and should have marked it, tried to punch it, and eventually the ball slithered down towards the behind post, hit the post, thus it will be a throw.
Davies gets in front. Matthews snaps for goal and is close. Just misses. Lee's kicked 3 behinds. as Hawthorn still are struggling for their first goal. They're 7 behind.
Hanson is kicked out all day to the defensive wing, which is the outer side. And this again, almost taken by Manane. Picked up by Parrish, a very strong player is Parrish. What a good kick it is to Conlon. Conlon's bathing to Domenico. McMahon. No, it's Poynton. Drives a long one downfield. Russo and McMahon and Knights. Mark number 4 over the top. That was really a spectacular. He drives looking for Ablett. Awkward bounce gives Manane a perfect bounce. Manane can run on and then give a hand pass to Hendry. Hendry's now onto his left foot. Boots it down towards the pocket looking for Matthews. Matthews marks. How strong is Lethal Lee? Certainly pound for pound, the strongest mark that one could ever wish to see. Comes in for his 13th kick. He's kicked 3 behinds and he kicks it very badly. It's out of bounds.
In by Hanson, this time towards the grandstand side of the ground. Alexander and Serafini both there for Fitzroy. It comes to Peter Manane, who pops it high. Kennedy's there for Hawthorn, but spoiled by Laurie, and the ball through for a behind.
Hawthorn's scoreboard is 8 behinds against 5-7 as Hanson kicks out to Alexander. For the first time he kicks to the attacking wing and does it successfully. Alexander, where Hendry and Serafini missed it. Domenico is caught. Across to Henry. Henry under pressure. Over the shoulder, I thought. The umpire says no. The tackle was good. The free kick against Hendry, who's playing very badly. Thornton out wide. O'Halloran goes up high. Conlon fights them both and takes a free kick. 2-1 it was, and Mick Conlon won it.
Conlon coming up for his 12th kick as he gets around Domenico. Drives it to full forward. McMahon is there, and a Fitzroy mark. Parrish, I think it might be. Poynton, Michael Poynton, kicked a magnificent freak goal in the first quarter. Fitzroy have scored the only goal into the breeze for the match. That was Quinlan's earlier this quarter. And Michael Poynton has a chance to really put Fitzroy in a commanding position. Only 25 metres out. Yes, it's coming back.
Down in the record book, I think, after the match. Is another very important goal. But centre bounce. Scott and Alexander, the veterans. Scott won it. Smith, who's playing brilliantly. Davies overruns it. Gets it. Looks for a hand pass. Ablett and McConnon. McConnon lost. Ablett will goal. Boy, they needed that one. The 2 speedsters. McConnon got there first. A bit unlucky, actually. And out of the fumble, it fell into the hands of the speedster. And the fastest man in football boots in Victorian football raced away for Hawthorn's first goal.
By 35 points just before that goal. Hawthorn's first goal for the match coming at the 14.5-minute mark of the second quarter. Don Scott gets it out of the centre for the Hawks. They still have time and plenty of breeze in the second quarter to level the scores. Umpire Robinson rules the ball was held in then and will ball it up rather than pay a Hawthorn free kick. Hawthorn at centre half forward. They've got about 13 or 15 minutes of wind-assisted time in this quarter. Comes down to Parrish from Alexander. Punched away from Di Domenico by McMahon. It goes to Serafini. He looks upfield for Quinlan with Knights. Quinlan on the half volley, gathers, gets around Knights. Handball's looking for Conlon. Intercepted by Howard, rather Russo, and the ball is hurried over the line just forward of the wing.
Scott's the only ruckman. Well done to Howard, to Wallace. Smith up above Tuck as usual. Hand pass into open territory. All Laurie, met by Matthews, missed him. Free kick to Laurie, too high. Lee scratches his head. He never says a word to the umpire, but the message was fairly clear.
Actually, if Lee scratches his head, it's almost like pulling out the mouth guard and kicking and throwing, and you know.
That's really showing demonstrative ability. In comes Manane, follows on very strongly. Over the top of him, Davies. Oh, bad luck, Manane. And the free kick goes to Rick Davies.
Right half forward for the Hawks. Low pass towards the forward pocket. Great interception by Laurie. The pass was meant for Lee Matthews, but it finished up with the wrong number 3.
It was a superb interception, and what's more, just as superb was the mark. Here comes the beanpole. Laurie's kick is a very good one into the breeze. Knight's the puncher. Out to Kennedy. High in the air. Awkward one for everybody, this one. And again it's Laurie. He's becoming a great favourite with Fitzroy, who punches it out of bounds.
Well, Doug, we saw this game earlier in the season at Princes Park, and Laurie was brilliant that day.
Yes, that was almost the start of his great run. Here comes Manane.
Oh, Lee Manane, great skills, but the kick was blocked by Hendry. Conlon wasn't playing the ball, picked up by Davies. Intercepted by Laurie, who's grabbed by Kennedy when he didn't have the ball. And the free kick to Grant Laurie. And the free's really going Fitzroy's way at the moment as Grant Laurie comes up for his 9th kick from the back pocket.
He's got about 4 in a row down there at the moment. Well, umpire Robinson found one there against Hendry to Quinlan. Quinlan then drives it down looking for Serafini. Knights comes to take him on and does it well. Russo, a dependable back pocket, in lots of trouble, kicks it high in the air. Scott. And against Ablett, and the free kick will go to Fitzroy's McConnell.
Free kicks 8-3 this quarter. And Rod Lewis marks on his chest just forward of the wing. 20, no, not yet 20 minutes, 18 gone in the second quarter. Over the head of McMahon, and the ball goes out of bounds. In between half-forward flank and forward pocket for Fitzroy. They lead 6-7 to 1-8.
Scott gets it down. Tuck is on the ball by the look of it. Knight's well played. Pass Carlson. Carlson follows on looking for his trusty left foot. A long hand pass gives Ablett a chance. Tackled by McConnon.
Oh, no!
Never. A shocking free kick by Sutcliffe. And the free kick will go to Ablett, who thumps it a good 80 metres with the breeze. Rick Davies from behind. Here comes Lethal Lee. Handles the ball beautifully. Out to Hendry. Hendry, a right footer, kicks for goal off direction. Out of bounds on the full. And Hawthorn really have wasted opportunities.
Laurie quickly finds Hanson. His kick to half-back flank, and Wallace marks. He's been magnificent in the centre. In fact, Fitzroy may be missing Peter Francis. Thornton playing on Wallace in the middle. Wallace's kick right towards the goal square. Eade stays at the back. Comes to the front though. Smith onto Taylor. It's been a great Fitzroy defence. Taylor skims across the ground. Bounces just in the field of play, but the umpire's paying a free kick here to Hawthorn. It wasn't out of bounds on the full. He's paid it for deliberately out of bounds. Alan Jeans shows no emotion about the free. Russell Green to take it. Ball curls with the breeze. It's close, and he's goaled from the boundary line. Russell Green, Hawthorn's second goal at the 20-minute mark, second quarter.
Well, I suggest, unlike Pointman's, that was really very skillful use of the breeze. It was beautifully judged. Rick Davies being spoken to by the runner. $20 points to 43.
He's getting to the hell out of it!
Fitzroy leading by 23 points as Scott thumps it straight to McMahon. McMahon out wide. O'Halloran dives at it. Well, umpire Sutcliffe surprises the crowd once again by paying that one. O'Halloran then kicks it down towards that centre-half forward zone. Henry couldn't take it. Caught with Fitzroy, Serafini with it. He's a great runner, is Serafini. Kicks to the boundary line with great skill. Great skill. Well done, Captain. Out of bounds.
Fitzroy lead by 23 points. Wallace, kick partly smothered. In goes Quinlan pretty hard. And Thornton holding the ball against Thornton. I think the umpires realised that perhaps Fitzroy are being favoured by the freeze, and they're quickly evening up. Oh, John Kennedy, a great mark. Kennedy, the breeze just about right at his back. It may slightly be coming over his left shoulder. Hawthorn badly need this. 35 metres from goal. It swings away and misses.
Goals are certainly very hard to score today, as both teams have found. Hanson, Quinlan and Knights. Knights front position, Quinlan in better position, almost took a good one. Great speed by Laurie. Brilliant hand pass to Carlson. Back to Laurie, a spectacular football. At centre wing, he sends a 50-metre one. Over Moore, almost taken by Conlon. Picked up by Moore, taken by Domenico. Ridden into the ground, I thought, that time by Rendell. Oh, beautiful football that time by Fitzroy. And they almost deserved a goal from it. They didn't get it, and umpire Sutcliffe will bounce it. Fitzroy in attack. Punch by Rendell. Picked up there by McMahon. Running with the flight of the ball is Mew. In trouble. Took too long. A great tackle by Conlon. Here's Benane.
Out of the back pocket to half-back. Wallace used his body really well against Thornton to take a fine mark. To half-forward, Smith. Marks against John Kennedy. Outstanding in defence, Chris Smith. That was his 5th mark. Over the wing. Rendell's there. Mark to Don Scott.
Not often does Scotty take the big mark. He took that well. Kennedy's now at centre half forward. Tucker's been moved away as Smith has been far too strong. Matthews against all the big fellows. Quinlan takes it. I would not have played it. And again it's Sutcliffe who errs. Out wide it goes. A great pass, Quinlan to Parrish.
Up to the wing. O'Halloran camped underneath it. Couldn't take it with one hand. Slips a tackle. Around on the left boot to centre half forward. Quinlan. Bumped by Matthews, will take a free kick. Lee's given away a few. And the umpires just seem so ready to pull out the whistle and blow it. Parrish up towards centre wing. Won't stay in. Close to time on, about 23 and a half minutes gone. Second quarter, Fitzroy 43, Hawthorn 21.
A lead of 22 points to Fitzroy. Scott and Lewis, Manane. Henry's been hopeless. Serafini beats him. Good tackle by Tuck. Must have got him on the leg. And Michael Tuck's had another bad day. Down it goes O'Halloran, 2-1 against him. Could have been a free to O'Halloran that time. It's not played and it's out of bounds to be thrown in.
Ian Payton warms up on the boundary line, about to interchange with Don Scott, no doubt, as we approach time on. Scott wins this down to Peter Manane, centres it to Knights. Well smothered by Rendell, the big full forward, comes to Manane again. Now O'Halloran, they're in trouble, Hawthorn. Russo fumbles, ball out of play. Well played, big Matt Rendell.
Lewis and Scott. Ablett. Hendry has not played well, has Johnny Hendry. Davies, wonderful leap and a wonderful mark. Mark number 3, he's been an impressive player as Rick Davies. What a splendid spiral torpedo. It's a goal. What a solo effort that was. Rick Davies, the prize recruit at 29 years of age, certainly shows the skill that Hawthorn have been waiting for a fairly long time throughout this season. Beautiful football by number 11.
He seemed to have come from way too far back then in a big pack, but with a good stretch forward, he certainly got hands to it and held it. Now a deficit of 16 points is not the end of the world for Hawthorn, and still a couple of minutes of wind-assisted time to go. Alexander misses with a kick out of the centre, and that'll be another ball up. We saw Fitzroy score a couple of goals in the last minute of the first quarter. If Hawthorn can do the same, they can be within a kick at half-time.
Alexander and Payton. Payton won it. Kennedy in trouble. Hit away from him. Down, good tackle, Smith. Kicked off the ground by Payton. Great mark, McConnon. McConnon goes off and gives it to Quinlan. The long-kicking champion kicks out to the boundary line. Kicks it too far. Out of bounds on the full. Free kick to the Hawks. Goes to Howard.
It was a bad kick by Quinlan. He had plenty of time. Glenn Howard. McConnon again. Almost. Tuck. Gets himself clear. Hoists it high with the breeze. Knights in the goal square with Quinlan. And Quinlan rushes it through for a behind.
Knight's job is obviously just to be where Quinlan is, and he's found himself at centre half back and down in the forward pocket all over the ground. Gerard McCarthy. Excellent kick. Davies from behind. All well played. Crawling after it there is Parrish. Lewis has been very mobile. Out to Parrish. Down it goes towards where Russo was outmanoeuvred this time by the strength of Conlon, but eventually picked up by Mew. Hendry can come from behind. Doesn't make it. Alexander well done. Diving on it once again is Wallace. Davies gets a hand pass out towards Wallace. Wallace then boots it out to Knights. Knights can't quite reach it. Quinlan. Tackle. Superb tackle. He looks for a free kick and it's not awarded. It should have been, and it's over the line out of bounds. What a beautiful, strong tackle by Peter Knights.
Oh, Hanson in front. Knocks the ball straight back out of play. 28 minutes gone in the second quarter. Time running out for Hawthorn. They've managed only 3 goals, 10 for the game. Knights to the back. Davies. Green. Can score from this pocket. Oh, all Hawthorn up here, but intercepted by Laurie again. Sweeps up the ground. Carlson unmarked. The siren sounds as Fitzroy dash away with it. Well, I think Fitzroy will be quite happy with the situation. A 15-point lead at half-time. Gathered well there by Howard. Pulled off his kick. Here's Taylor in the back pocket. Keeps it in well. Hanson camped underneath it. Goes to the back to Matthews, one of the leading kick winners on the ground, smothered by the other one, Conlon. Hanson again. Howard, close to out of bounds. Half volley there for Taylor, and the ball goes out, left half forward for Hawthorn.
Well, there was a good illustration of how hard it is kicking into this very, very strong, cold, freezing breeze. In comes Davies with a wonderful leap once again. On to Tuck. Tuck will go as long as he possibly can. Running with it, Hendry, but Laurie with wonderful speed continues on and takes another telling mark and a very telling kick to Conlon.
Divya Domenico standing the mark. Conlon at half-back. Divya Domenico over the mark, rules the umpire. Sutcliffe had a 15-metre penalty. Conlon, who had 13 kicks in the first half, as against Matthews, who matched him with 13. They're the two leading kick winners on the ground. Michael Conlon from right half-back.
Good leap by McMahon. Here comes the tough, tenacious Wallace. His kick is being held up by the breeze, and Serafini and Alexander compete. Take your pick. Serafini's off. Wonderful runner, short pass. Look out, well done. Really well done, Serafini. That was a perfect chip pass. And Parrish, who's a very strong player, he'll remember that one. He'll have a look at O'Halloran and say, if I've got a chance, I'll just return that compliment. But out of it all, he gains about 10 metres as a penalty. And it's pretty important with this breeze that you get as close as humanly possible. Parrish kicks for goal and kicks very, very badly. Out of bounds on the full. Well, that really was an atrocious shot for goal, and the free kick goes to Kelvin Moore. Alexander down, thumped it over the line, out of bounds, and it'll be thrown in once again on the defensive side of the ground. Scott and Alexander. Scott's done well on the in the ruck. Left footer goes downfield from Ablett. Peter Knights, high in the air it is, held up for the breeze again. Dipper Domenico almost took a beauty. Serafini cleverly picks it up, turns and twists out of trouble, screws it back across the face of the ground. Up goes Conlon, spoilt by Knights. Carlson tackled there by Howard, held it a long time. Condon ran into trouble. Carlson once again. Here comes a Poynton, lost at O'Halloran. O'Halloran's off.
O'Halloran from half-back. The ball getting out close towards the boundary line. Here's Laurie. He gets support from Quinlan. And the hand pass misses Bernie Quinlan and goes out of bounds. But Grant Laurie was under extreme pressure. Fitzroy at right half forward. David O'Halloran's lost a boot. Scott wins a good tap. Quinlan, hand pass intercepted by Wallace. His kick smothered. Parrish keeps it in. Carlson buried. Free kick against Mew for a push in the back.
Lee Carlson, a bit too far out to score. He might make it with a big one because this breeze is just so hard to predict as to how much you'll gain from it. Into the 10-metre square, Reynolds the leaper. Here comes Lee Matthews. Boots it downfield, in front McMahon. And this is the man who can kick the ball long distances. David McMahon, strong, tough, safe, and a very long kick. Well, there's no doubt he's going to have a shot for goal. He's about 35 metres from the man on the mark as he's going to take a very, very long run in. Close to the man on the mark. Beautiful spiral torpedo, and it's through. Free kick against Rendell. As he tried to shepherd, the free goes against Rendell.
What a brilliant kick it was by David McMahon. So still no score in the third quarter. Fitzroy hanging on to a 15-point lead, 6-7 to 3-10. Well, not actually hanging on. It probably is better to say Hawthorn have kept them to that 15-point lead because Fitzroy have this big breeze. Matthews' kick is smothered by Quinlan. It's gathered just inside the line, comes back to Matthews. Matthews kick to half-back flank. Di Domenico outnumbered 2-1. Comes to the back, gathered there by Smith, the centre half-back, right towards the goal square. Rendell in front, almost took the mark. Comes off to Kennedy, now O'Halloran, and all he can do is run it over the line.
Ooh, the Fitzroy crowd don't enjoy that mark that was not paid to Rendell. Kelvin Moore's got to go against him, taken by Tuck, who's on the ball now. Howard gives it to Kennedy. Kennedy to open territory, centre wing grandstand side. Racing to it is Green. Kicks up the ground cleverly. In his road, Manane. Bad hand pass, taken by Jerry McCarthy. McCarthy then on his left foot, boots it downfield. Ablett's the leaper, and good mark.
Jeff Ablett at centre half-back, a lead by Wallace across the centre. Di Domenico from half forward. Punched down by Smith. Straight into the arms there of Eade. Eade drives to full forward. Henry will mark uncontested and should goal. And John Henry does. And that's Hawthorn's first goal at that end of the ground for the match.
And John Henry, who's had a very quiet day, profited then. He finished it off beautifully, but certainly it was a beautiful pass by Rodney Eade, who's been interchanged, and I can detect just a slight trace of that groin injury. He hasn't moved with his usual freedom. points the difference. And Fitzroy have the breeze. They better do something soon as Scott thumps it out McConnon. McConnon's kick is smothered. Alexander off the breeze. Knights gets foot to ball hurriedly. All Fitzroy out there as Laurie and McConnon go for it. And McConnon takes a splendid diving mark.
Lee McConnon from centre wing. Kicked well inside half forward. Rendell's there, punched away by Knights. Into the path of Conlon, who snaps for goal and misses again, Michael Conlon. So he's played a great game around the ground, but he's kicked 4 times for goal, 4 behinds.
And each time it's been with this strong breeze behind him, and the flying shot for goal he's missed. Moore. In front, Scotty. Great spoil by Alexander. Rigged thumping punch away from Scott. Great contest between these two veterans. Connor's about even, but Scott's certainly done well. Out wide, Conlon again, runs into Russo. Manane hits it down further. In comes Matthews with strength and power. Into McMahon he goes. And McMahon's been playing it pretty tough today, and the captain remembered that.
Scott wins the tap. Hawthorn finding it hard to get it out here. It's going to be a free kick to Conlon, held when not in possession. Threw his arms in the air to make sure the umpire saw it. And Michael Conlon, the breeze is across him from that pocket, or that half-forward flank, right to left, coming up for his 17th kick at the 8-minute mark of the 3rd quarter, and it's out of bounds on the full. Never got it near a scoring zone.
And that's the blemish that will stop him getting the votes at this stage. He's played brilliantly, but he's squandered his kicks. Scott again almost took it. Oh, that free could have gone Hawthorn's way. And left footer goes down from McConnon. Good spoil by the big fellow, Kelvin Moore. And here we are at the 9-minute mark in the 3rd term, and Fitzroy desperately needing to utilise this very strong breeze.
Alexander and Scott. The 2 veterans of both teams comes to Conlon. His kick only covers about 8 metres, picked up by Tuck. Well gathered by Mew, quickly onto Eade. Away from half-back they go through Davies, who fumbles but has time to recover. Over the top again to Eade. But it didn't reach him on the full. And the ball goes out of bounds now, just short of centre wing for Hawthorn. There's been only 1 goal kicked in this quarter, and that's been by Hawthorn into the wing.
Scotty's up high. Again Scott. This time Hanson. Again Scott takes it, tries to hand pass. Down they go, picked up by Mew. Mew then back towards Hendry and McCarthy. Neither can take it. Great speed by Taylor, overruns it. Gives the chance to Smith. Back it goes to Parrish. Good play this time, and a free kick should go that time to Kennedy. Down goes Hendry. And down to go again, and the free kick this time to Green. Not to Serafini. Serafini on and boots them into attack. Tuck in front. Well played that time by McMahon. Look out, lots of trouble to Carlson. Carlson cleverly. Down it goes where Ron Alexander and Kelvin Moore. Punched away from Alexander. Picked up by Quinlan. Down he goes and held it. Picked up by Alexander. Look out for O'Halloran and Murnane. Oh, down they go. I thought the ball might have hit the post. It's through for 1 behind. Well, you could never say it's not fiercely contested.
One of the great duels on the ground is Quinlan against Knights. Two real stars who travelled overseas in 1978 with the Australian team to Ireland. Moore towards the outer side. And they all up and down before acceptances. At the back, Eade up to centre wing, looking for Dippia Domenico. But Chris Smith has taken more marks on the ground than any other player. That's his 6th mark. To centre half forward with his kick. Knights! Peter Knights vintage.
That's his 6th, Drew. What a super leap that was. Drives it out looking for Dippia Domenico. Punched away, taken by Wallace. Wallace, it's all Fitzroy. Taylor. Oh, Hendry. Could have been a free. It was a free. A terrible tackle. Out to the runner. This Grant Laurie, the beanpole, can really go. Sends a good 60-metre. Knights again. 2-1 against him. Taken by Mew. Mew loses it. Picked up by Tuck. Tuck with his left foot. Kennedy can't take it. It goes to Henry. Henry downfield, and Domenico comes charging towards Taylor. The ball goes away from Taylor, and he takes it through for one behind. 11 minutes have elapsed in the third term, and Hawthorn have had all the play.
10 points is the difference, 45 to 35. The Lions in front. Oh, Lee Manane reads it brilliantly at the back. He's caught by Wallace and was too slow to get rid of it. Free kick to Terry Wallace. Manane was trying to extricate himself from the tackle to find Carlson with the handball, but Wallace didn't let go. To half forward. Good mark, Serafini. Not paid, though. It comes to Hendry. Attacking side of the ground for John Hendry, but a shocking left foot kick, and is lucky to bounce just inside the line. And look at the ball, like a top. Stood on its end and spun there for about 5 seconds.
He was lucky he didn't kick it out of bounds. It was only the breeze that saved him. Alexander won it. Manane, a good contester. McCarthy cleverly to Serafini. Caught by Green. Chance now for Scotty. Go charging through. He does. Nobody to give it to. He does it back to Ablett. Ablett breaks away. Caught. Gets his kick and back to Scott. And I think it covered the necessary 10 metres. Scott looks as if he knew all the time it went 11. And comes back and will shoot for goal. Hawthorn at half-time were 3 goals 10. And now they're 4-11 at the 12-minute mark in the third term, and Scott to shoot for goal from about 45 metres out. Not the longest kicking man in Australia is number 23. This will really test his power. Good kick, Don Scott, just off direction. Bad luck, he's through for one behind.
I think one thing for sure has come from this game is that Don Scott still has the form left to be able to play 300 games. Hanson slightly favours the grandstand side. Quinlan very high. At the back, Mew, who was grabbed by Rendell when he didn't have the ball. Free kick to Chris Mew. Mew's kicked out towards the forward pocket looking for Hendry. Outnumbered 2-1. Couldn't take the mark. Keeps it in play. No, kicks it out. That ball was about to bounce out. He kicked it out. And it's going to be a free kick to Hanson instead of a throw-in. So foolish football by John Hendry.
That really was stupid. Here comes the legal man, the solicitor, Chris Hanson. What an excellent kick it was too. Scott again. Kennedy with it. Dodges. Scotty in trouble. Picked up by Lewis. Beautifully out wide it goes. Down to Carlson. Carlson a long one to Poynton. Poynton looks across to Parrish. Danger. Russo dived on him. Poynton with it. 1 point. Oh, that Russo tackle looked very high. And Fitzroy 1 point instead of what looked to be a potential. Certainly was very much a potential goal.
Poynton should have had a shot earlier. Kelvin Moore towards the outer side. In front, Davies. Spoiled by Quinlan, but straight into the path there of Peter Manane of Hawthorn. A beautiful kicker, and that covers a lot of distance into the wind. Taylor knocks it forward, straight into the path of Green. It's wide open here for Hawthorn. Russell Green gets around Serafini, pops over the top. Matthews is there. Hawthorn goal coming up. Matthews is shepherded. Pops and cops and goals. Hawthorn's second goal into the breeze in this quarter, and a vital one in the overall.
There he is, the man who can swing a game. There's Lee Matthews. Very clever football by Russell Green, incidentally. He propped and swerved around his opponent, and all the time his mind was on getting it across to that danger man, his brilliant captain Lee Matthews. He did, and Matthews didn't let him down. Awkward bounce goes straight to Conlon, tackled by Tuck. Davies beautifully out to Scott. Swings Hawthorn into attack. The reliable McCarthy takes yet another mark. McCarthy's played well against his old team. 15-metre penalty.
That ball will have to go back. It'll take back.
There was never any doubt, Drew, that McCarthy had lots of ability, but he never gave too much of it at Hawthorn. But today he's played with a lot of skill.
Hawthorn within a kick. They trail by 4 points. Here's a chance for Fitzroy, though. The handball comes over the top from Poynton. Was looking for Lewis. Intercepted by Kelvin Moore. And that will be a ball up. Fitzroy have managed only 3 behinds with the breeze in this quarter. Hawthorn have managed 2-2 into the wind. A vital third quarter for the Hawks. Now Fitzroy in attack. They haven't scored a goal with the breeze and they've been playing 17 minutes. Here's a chance for McConnell, number 34, with Ablett, his opponent. It spills out wide to Laurie. Laurie centres the ball. Quinlan comes down to the front and kicked out of defence by Russo.
And here comes McMahon, kicked off the ground by Tuck brilliantly. Wallace and Thornton fight for it. Wallace will not give up against 3 of them. There's no doubt about him. It's Alexander underneath it all. But Terry Wallace is really a very brave, determined and courageous footballer. And there's the mud patch.
Scott knocks to the back. There was interference to Alexander, who'll take the free kick. Now Alexander won't make the distance from there, especially with a wet, sticky, black, heavy ball. And that mud has almost given Ron Alexander a dark complexion. 60 metres from goal, drops 5 short. Quinlan! Oh, he got hands to it but couldn't quite take it. Comes to Kelvin Moore. This is danger if Fitzroy can get it, but Rick Davies takes a great mark quickly onto Ablett, and the Hawks run it out of defence.
Ablett down to the attacking side of the ground. Domenico, who's now on the half-forward line, picks up on the half-back line. His hand passes too quick. He recovers possession. In comes Mew and Rendell. Rendell follows on with great skill for a big fellow. Met by Domenico, and down they go. Hawthorn playing a magnificent third term.
Fitzroy 46, Hawthorn 42 at the 18-minute mark in the second quarter. Wallace goes through. Russo is caught by Rankin, loses control of the ball. It goes out of bounds, and there'll be a boundary throw-in. Fitzroy in attack, but they haven't been able to manage a goal with this gale in the third quarter. Alexander wins the tap. Scott takes it away, but kicks back into the pack, and that will be a baller.
There's a beautiful picture of the muddy, bespattered people. That's Rankin, number 22, who's just come on the ground. In comes Alexander, beaten by Scott. Out to Wallace, who's been one of the best contesters. Dived on by Thornton. They don't pay that free kick, and there it goes. There's a beautiful photo of it. Not pals at the moment, but still. Underneath it all is Terry Wallace. That's the face there. Thornton is number 4. And Wallace, rightly not enjoying it. He was the man who was roughed up, and there's Conlon. But Terry Wallace has been a magnificent Hawk all day. And really, it was not at all happy about that one. And to use that famous expression, I'm on his side. Tempers have cooled down, and in comes the throw-in. Scott and Alexander again. Clayton in trouble, and then again that ugly pack, and Russo's underneath it all.
Actually, Thornton was taken off after that for his troubles. That's why Clayton's on the ground, the former Tasmanian. Thought that blue happened about 2 paces from the bench, which is where Thornton is now sitting. Taken by Clayton, picked up by Quinlan, who skirts around, keeps the ball in play, and a fine mark has been taken by Poynton in the right forward pocket on the boundary line. He kicked a goal from the left forward pocket in the first quarter. Now, can he do it? This is more with the breeze. Fitzroy badly need this goal. He's going to have to aim it pretty well left, and it's a good kick. It's a magnificent kick. His third goal.
Wonderful solo effort by Quinlan, fighting and struggling for the ball that got the ball to Poynton. Poynton did his share because he took a fine mark and then a magnificent kick for goal. The difference is 10 points. And we're 21 minutes into the third term. The final quarter is in Hawthorn's favour. Wallace. Look at him contesting. Dipper Domenico barges in. Tackled by McMahon, who's been very tough also for Fitzroy. No place out there for faint hearts. Here comes Manane. Manane out looking for Hendry, pursued by McCarthy. Hendry's got it. He's got to turn onto his left foot. He should give it back to Manane, which he does, and Manane will take a kick for goal, but he's too far out to score.
Bright sunshine on that side of the ground now. Manane's kick is dropping only about 10 metres short. Thumped out of defence by Fitzroy. It finishes with McConnon. Spills now to Clayton. Whistle's gone. Free kick to McConnon for pushing the back. We're at the 22.5-minute mark of the third quarter. Fitzroy a short time ago got their first and only goal for the quarter with this breeze. In front is Parrish, who takes the mark. Looked as though he almost wanted to play on. Fitzroy need, I reckon, about 3 more goals at least before the end of this quarter. Rendell marks at centre-half forward. Ironic cheers for Matt Rendell, because he really hasn't had the ball too often, and that's his first mark.
First mark and second kick to Rendell. And Rendell, well, you can see very clearly that his opponent standing in the mark is right on the centre square, and he'll almost make the distance. Here comes Bernie Quinlan to leap. Knight's with him as usual. McMahon with the ball. Kicked off the ground that time by Conlon, and that registers his own 5th behind.
Scott has been interchanged, approaching time on. Ian Payton back on the ground. And at each of the 3 quarters, Scotty's come off at about the 23 or 24-minute mark. Kelvin Moore's kick into play. Rick Davies. A minute. They tell me he's paying a mark to Rendell.
I think it's a free kick against Davies, I think.
Okay. Matthew Rendell from left half forward. Dropping 15 metres short. Kelvin Moore, fine mark.
Well, few players understand when to punch the ball and when to mark it better than Moore. That time was a perfect illustration. Boots it downfield, looking for Payton. Above him, Alexander. Well, the big fellow certainly worked on those legs, because that was a spectacular leap. Rode the back of Ian Payton. Alexander's kicked 1 goal, and this is one that Fitzroy would really relish if the ex-captain, who's playing for Fitzroy just as if he was still captain, kicks for goal. What a thunderer. What a beauty. Well done, Big Ron. That was a magnificent kick. It must have covered a good 70 metres and bisected the goalpost. That's his second.
Now have scored the last 2 goals, but I reckon they need a couple more. We're at the 25-minute mark of the third quarter. Bad bounce for Davies, taken by Parrish. Over the top he finds McMahon. McMahon sinks it high with the breeze. In front, Lewis. Spoiled by Moore. Quinlan bursts through. Moore again loses control of it. In there is Poynton, number 17. Desperation stuff, but the umpire comes in and will ball it up. Fitzroy in attack.
They certainly are. Quinlan underneath it once again. Matthews runs into trouble. Out to Tuck. Tuck try. Oh, down they're going. Free kick to Mew. Yes, I thought it might have been. And Chris Mew, who's been a very safe defender, took a couple of very nice marks on half-back line.
Mew's kick towards the half-back flank. Hanson knocks towards the boundary line but doesn't find it. Eads kick to centre wing. Taylor is there, outnumbered 2-1, but gets it. Well done by Neville Taylor. To centre-half forward, Rendell's there again. Down he goes, scooped off the ground by Matthews. In goes Davies, quickly to Mew. Mew's kick up and down in the one spot. It's a real scramble. Wallace. Matthews, but the ball out of play.
Wallace, again, the fierce contester. His hand pass not good. Davies from behind. Abbott's kick is smothered. Matthews thumped. Out wide it goes to Manane. Manane back, and here's Green. Green's hand pass is no good. Taylor's off. Taylor's on the half-forward line. Down it goes. Quinlan almost took a good one. What a great battle it's been between two spectacular, gifted players. And Quinlan just got there, couldn't hold it. Knights, as usual, shadow for shadow.
And I'd give it to Knights. On points. Here's Rod Lewis. Takes possession out of the ruck. Kicks for goal and has just missed. Very close. You were very silent. You don't agree with me?
Oh, yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Right. Thank you.
Yep. No,
because to hold Bernie Quinlan to 1 goal
Yep.
is something that not a lot of players have done for the last couple of months.
No, well, they haven't. No, it's been a great performance. It's been a beautiful battle too. Played in great spirit. There's a chance for Tuck. Out to the captain. Matthews then downfield looking for Hendry. Hendry props well. Takes a good mark, I thought. It's awarded. Wallace tosses it back. That's Hendry's 4th mark. John Hendry playing at full forward now in the wing positions. He takes that kick. All Hawthorn in front. Couldn't hold it. Taken there by Wallace. Kickers smothered, as so often happens with Wallace. He plays so close to the pack. He's got only one way home straight through it, and that'll be bounced again.
Time running out for Fitzroy. They might have about 2 minutes remaining of wind-assisted time, and they lead by only 3 goals. Davies threads the handball through to Peter Manane. Back it goes to Kennedy. Long kick. Here's Hendry, only 20 metres from goal. Gets onto his left boot over the top, but hasn't got any distance, the kick. And Carlson, held when not in possession, will take a free kick.
Hendry again really didn't play that at all well. Out it goes, a hand pass to McCarthy. McCarthy a good 60 metres down to David McMahon. Oh, good mark. Have to play it. What an excellent mark over the top of Tuck. David McMahon giving inches away to Tuck. Splendid judgment and great concentration. Eyes on the ball. Took it at second bite. Now the long kicker. I think a bit too far for him this time. Doesn't really kick it well. Kelvin Moore doesn't miss. Takes it on his chest. Moore in an awkward position because he's got to kick the ball. No, he's not. He says, I'm going to kick it out to that defensive side. And as close to the boundary as is humanly possible. And that's the right thing to do. He was going to have to kick it into the breeze. He's kicking right across the face of goal. And there's the siren. And at 3/4 time, 18 points the difference. Is it a big enough lead for Fitzroy? They're 8-12 to Hawthorn 5-12. Umpire Robinson. 3 goals in front of Fitzroy at the start of the final term, and Hawthorn have a fierce breeze behind them as Alexander wins it. Matthews can't pick it up. Carlson's buffeted and caught, gets it out towards Conlon. Conlon goes reeling out of the pack looking for a free kick. Umpire Sutcliffe disagrees and will bounce it.
Alan Jean still making signals to his runner. Pass on to the team in the first minute of the last quarter. Umpire Sutcliffe bounces for the 3rd time in that minute. Wallace got that tap. Knocked forward by Howard. Here's Laurie, who's been a great player for Fitzroy. Scooped off the ground by Quinlan, but he gave it straight to Wallace. Wobbly old kick up towards the forward pocket. Here's Hendry. Just to skirt round onto his left boot. Clayton knocks it straight to Davies, who's caught by McMahon. Free kick against Rick Davies. His statistics to 3/4 time, 2 kicks, 13 hand passes.
McMahon playing as a loose man in defence, boots it down. Quinlan, Knights and company, but in front, Big Rendell. Well, it's very handy to be 6'9" when you're flying for a mark, and that was the perfect illustration. Great mark by Big Matt Rendell. He's about half-back flank grandstand side. Knights and Quinlan contest again. Quinlan there first. Kennedy's kick a bad one. Out of bounds on the full. And waiting for the free kick will be Lee McConnell. And there's Alan Jeans. Almost on the ground. He'll be spoken to if he's not careful.
Right where Lee McConnell is to take his free kick to half-forward flank. Knights and Quinlan. No mark. Quinlan at the back goes for the bounce into the breeze. Short passes. Lewis couldn't quite take the mark. And Rod Lewis hates himself for that, because it would have been an ideal opportunity for Fitzroy to get the first goal of the quarter and, importantly, kicking into the breeze.
Scott and Lewis. Lewis got there first. Matthews sharks it. His left footer doesn't cover much distance. Tuck and Serafini. Serafini won it.
Clayton.
Oh, Clayton. Sorry. Yeah, Clayton. Kicks it downfield. Great punch by O'Halloran. Look out, Dipper Domenico, but gets his kick, and here comes Wallace. He'll be straight down with it. Caught. Clayton again looking very, very promising. Boots it back downfield, and O'Halloran a great leap. Parrish got the call from O'Halloran, let it come. He's furious. In comes Matthews. Matthews downfield. Chris Smith underneath it, takes his 7th mark.
That's a good one too, because it went just a little bit further than he thought with the breeze. Nobody on the mark. Centre half forward, Knights on his own, drops this one, but takes a cut round the ear and will get the free kick. Knights comes across the half-back line. Kelvin Moore up from full-back. Eade tells him to go long, and he does. Half-back to half-forward, chest mark John Henry.
Henry quickly downfield, Davies. Well, that's been very impressive football, those last 2 exchanges. Moore's long kick was taken on the chest by a running Henry, and that one goes like a bullet to the chest of Rick Davies. With 3 goals the difference, Hawthorn trailing. Davies about 30 to 35 metres out. Great kick, Rick Davies. Great kick, and boy, is he pleased with it, and rightly so. There's this ex-All-Australian, South Australian captain, and puts it through, and there's 2 goals the difference. That's his 2nd goal, incidentally.
Dominated by the wind. Hawthorn have it in this last quarter. Alexander with a back fister. Intercepted by Ablett, one of the leading kick winners on the ground. This time a handball to Mew. Long kick down towards the forward pocket. Bounce beats Hanson and goes out of play. Just shows you how strong this breeze is, because from the centre tap, Hawthorn so
when your emotions came out for the
10 metres away from the behind post.
Yes, this is the attacking side of the ground, and when Hawthorn work it to this side, as they've done a couple of times, they really get long distances. David punched away from him, out of bounds again. There's 2 goals the difference. Hanson out of bounds again. Well, I've never seen anyone penalised for that, but certainly it was done on purpose. But never have I seen a penalty. Davies, Scotty above him, hits it down towards the boundary line and gains a few yards for his side. Not terribly important ones. It's out of bounds again.
Fitzroy 8-12, Hawthorn 6-12. They've been playing 4.5 minutes in the final term. Davies tries to take clean possession and is caught holding the ball. Free kick goes to Chris Hanson. It's been a real problem for defenders to kick out from this end all day. Hanson towards the outer side. Serafini with a run and a good mark. Right half back for the Lions.
It's really the typical Serafini run. His kick is not as straight as normal, straight to Tuck actually, very crooked. He tried to pass that one out to Rendell. Look at the attacking side of the ground from Tuck to Knights. You can go on and have a shot for goal, Peter. Look at this distance. Wow! He's done it. I really think he was in doubt himself as to whether he could go on. He did, and boy, that's 1 goal the difference. And a spectacular goal by Peter Knights. Very intelligent football from Michael Tuck.
Fitzroy have led all day, but it looks as though Hawthorn are about to overtake them. Out of the centre, Parrish, good kick towards Conlon at centre half forward. Too much carry, but he follows on with it, Michael Conlon, and should kick a goal as he skirts around them. And what an important goal that is for the Lions. Michael Conlon has absolutely dominated. That was his 20th kick for the game.
And he's kicked 1 goal 5. And that was the right time to kick for one. Seven minutes have gone in the final term. Hawthorn trailing by 12 points and with the breeze behind them. Clayton kicks it out wide. Here goes Rodney Eade getting the run of it. Dodges cleverly. Dodges again beautifully. Steadies. Sends a good 50 to 60 metre down towards Rick Davies. Well punched away from him. Here comes Green. Green then shoots for goal when he could have given it to Kennedy. Underneath it McMahon, but it's out of bounds on the full. And McMahon takes the free kick.
Job with David McMahon here. Oh, it's going close to the boundary line with the breeze. Serafini marks just inside the line. Whew, that was close. Serafini's kick also close to the line. Rendell's there, goes off the hands and out of bounds. This is at left half back for Fitzroy. They led by 27 points at quarter time, 15 points at half time, 18 points at three-quarter time, but will still have to really struggle to be in front at the end, as Quinlan's kick goes with the breeze out of bounds, and there'll be a free kick on centre wing. It was touched off the boot.
Touched off. Scott gets front position brilliantly. Clayton shows tons of endeavour and plenty of skill too. Since come on is interchanged. Scott won it, punched by Quinlan. Rendell and Scott. Scott won it again. He's been a wonderful, courageous fellow, Scotty, today. Back to his palmy days.
Ruckman wrestling each other. Quinlan knocks it straight to his opponent, Knights, but he's pulled off his kick. Wallace keeps it out in front of himself for Tuck. Tuck's kick to centre half forward. McMahon, good mark in front of his face. What a great player he's been. It's his fifth mark. Goes for the handball to McCarthy, who's been a good player against his old team. Good kick into the breeze to centre half forward. Lee Manane's there. Good gather. Breaks the tackle. Short passes. Conlon again. Sweeping handball to Carlson. Fitzroy goal coming up again. 2 goals into the breeze in a couple of minutes. And that could swing the game back their way.
That was really one of the most beautiful pieces of football for the match. Really started with Manane. What a find he's been, this young balding veteran. Back for centre bounce and Fitzroy looking in a very strong position as Scott once again wins the punch down. Green can't grab it. Wallace. Out it goes to Hendry, shoots for goal and kicks it badly. Didn't favour his left foot, he had to turn back into trouble. One behind only.
Fitzroy lead by 17 points. So Hawthorn have only outscored them by a point in this wind-assisted last quarter. Knocked forward by Howard, the wingman, and the ball out of play down towards the forward pocket. 11 minutes gone in the last quarter. Hawthorn have kicked 2 goals in the last term. Fitzroy 2 goals.
Davies comes in to contest with Hanson. Hanson's very good at thumping it over the line in front of him, and it's good football for his team because it's all saving time. But there's only 11 minutes gone to this final term and the match is far from won. Fitzroy 17 points in front. Thrown away that time, picked up by Taylor. Taylor out to centre wing position. Alexander and Dipper Domenico pursue it over the line. Boundary umpire will throw it in.
Came right to the back of them to Quinlan. Was pulled down by Scott. Ball spills out close to the boundary line and gathered there by Rankin. Now out of play again.
It's on the defensive side of the ground, which suits Fitzroy. Down it goes, and kick is smothered from Howard. Parrish hand passes to the boundary line. Again, a throw in from the boundary umpire.
Scrappy bit of play at the moment. Fitzroy in front by 17 points at the 12-minute mark. Let the umpire sorts out a free soon. There it is. And we go to Bernie Quinlan in the muddiest part of the ground. Look at that ball pull up and go plop in the mud. Quinlan coming up for kick number 11. Carlson.
Carlson downfield. Rendell comes from behind. Well played, Matthew, by Wallace. Wallace down past Laurie, past everybody else except Chris Smith. He then loses the run of it. Dipper Domenico across to Ablett. Ablett two against him. Out wide to Manane. Manane to Hendry. McCarthy's got the pace to beat him to it and takes it out of bounds as Hendry appeals that McCarthy had kicked it out on the full. The appeal. Oh, the boundary umpire speaking to Hendry.
Forward pocket for Hawthorn. McCarthy clean possession and then bundled over the line with it. And another throw in. So it's either been balled up or thrown in about 12 times in the last 10 minutes, it seems. Davies gets it to the back. Intercepted by Quinlan. Not a long kick, though, into the breeze. Chance for tuck. Rendell, handballs to no one. Gathered by Mew.
Mew then boots it back towards where Parrish is there. They're marking very safely. And Parrish and McMahon lurking around this half-back line is very good defensive football by coach Robert Walls. Here comes Knights. Manane missed an easy one. Here comes Clayton. Alexander Shepherds, Dipper Domenico. Clayton is straddled. Oh, that's a tough one. That's a tough free kick, and Dipper Domenico takes a free kick. He's within range of goal. The umpire's instructions are very obvious in this particular match, that if you're over the top of the ball, it's danger for you. You'll be free kicked. And Bertie Dipper Domenico is about 55 metres from goal, long and just off direction through for one behind.
McMahon goes for the short one to Smith. Parrish has got himself clear. The handball doesn't find him into the breeze, but Hawthorn haven't covered this side of the ground at all, so Parrish has plenty of time to recover. From left half back, beautiful pass to Conlon. Conlon, who's got the ball so well and disposed of it so badly until he got that brilliant goal earlier in this quarter, up towards half-forward flank. Rendell in front. Mew spoils. Past Parrish it goes. Gathered by Eade, who gets around Rankin. The handball over the top, looking for tuck. Collision coming up here. Well done, David McMahon, whose kick is smothered by Eade, and the ball stays in, now out. Out on the full from Scott Clayton. He was unlucky.
My word, there was some courage from McMahon, if ever there was fear or fearlessness. Alexander's got the chance. He's a changed man, as Big Ron. He's marking better this year than he's ever marked, and here comes the super boot. Sends a driving kick looking for Carlson. Perfect. And Carlson made the best of it. Very cleverly marked. Only inches from the ground against Stu Howard, 15 metres. Fitzroy looking very impressive, and here comes Poynton. Above him, O'Halloran takes a screamer. An absolute screamer by David. Danger. Out to Mew, who's lost it. Manane lying on top of it. And that's a danger position to have the ball today, Lee Manane, but he's not penalised.
Fitzroy 72, Hawthorn 56 at the 17-minute mark in the last quarter, and Fitzroy are at centre-half forward. Rendell wins the tap, intercepted by Peter Russo. He's kicked back towards the centre circle. McMahon runs onto it again, gathers, handballs away, but loses control of it now. Taylor gets his body in well. That'll be a baller. Fitzroy using up valuable time because Hawthorn haven't scored a goal for about over 10 minutes.
In the centre of the ground, Scott wins it. Clayton thumps it out wide to the non-defensive or the defensive side of the ground. Manane goes after it. Clayton beats him for it. Gosh, Fitzroy is showing some endeavour, and they're being led magnificently by David McMahon in this particular aspect of the game.
McMahon is roaming around a loose man in defence at the moment. Kick behind the play. Picked up by Matthews. His kick to centre half forward Tuck, who marks it about knee level. Michael Tuck, just about right in front. He'll have to kick it from about the white line, which will put him about 60 metres from goal. And the breeze will still give him a chance of kicking the distance. Puts it up high. It's a beautiful kick coming back, but not far enough. Well, it was all of 65 metres, the kick, but a behind when they wanted to go.
Hansen now looking for Alexander, long way out towards the boundary line. Knights is in front position. Back it comes, hugging the boundary. In front, Dipper Domenico Smith, a perfect defender. Fist up in the air, punches it away. It's out of bounds.
Fitzroy 10-12. Hawthorn 7 goals 15. And we're at the 18-minute mark in the final term. Peter Manane over his shoulder, on the chest of David McMahon, but it didn't quite reach him because it was marked by Smith. Straight up the ground he goes for Serafini. Danger! Rodney Eade takes the mark. It looked Serafini's all the way, but Eade showed terrific endeavour to take that mark in front of him. Now he's right in front and about 55 metres out, or only 50 I'll give him. And there's a big chance to kick this, even with a groin injury. Knocked away by Quinlan, out of bounds for throwing.
Well, Rod Eade really didn't make the distance then when he should have. Hansen will go to punch at the boundary line. Davies frustrates him. Hansen runs into lots of trouble. Quinlan's there to buffet it over the line as two other Hawthorn players tumble over the top of him. Quinlan's been a real fighter in this last term. Scott up above them, straight out to Smith. Back it goes to McMahon. His kick doesn't cover any distance, but it still puts it 30 metres away from Fitzroy's goal line or defensive line, and it'll be thrown in.
One of the things that's happened in this quarter is that with Fitzroy dropping men back in defence, we haven't got the side of Knights on Quinlan, but here's Knights, and he'll take that mark. Well, no doubt about it, it was a front-on charge by Rendell. He wasn't watching the ball. Knights controlled it long enough. This is 15 metres short. There's Quinlan. Comes to the back to Smith, who fumbles. Danger here for Fitzroy. Taken away by McCarthy. It spills to McConnon. Now to Quinlan, who loses the ball in Scott's tackle. Ablett kicks backwards. Conlon's there and marks for Fitzroy.
The medium-sized players are marking very well. McMahon, Conlon and Parrish. Out it goes to Taylor. Taylor drives it out there wide. Too wide it was. And it's over the line, out of bounds, as Poynton was streaming after it. Or was it Serafini streaming after it? It was.
Fitzroy with only 3 players forward of the halfway. O'Halloran's handball finds Matthews. Has time. Will almost kick this, or drops well short, and Quinlan marks. Quinlan and McMahon both there as separate men. Just spare men in defence. Here's Rendell. Rendell up towards centre wing. All Hawthorn as they knock it down. Hawthorn a bit frustrated. They need 3 goals to win it, and time's running out for them. Kelvin Moore dashes back, chased by Manane. Moore kicks to nobody. Knights leads the race, but here comes Laurie. Knights gets support just. Ablett.
Brilliant play, Knights. Out to Ablett. Ablett drives it to Tuck with a perfect pass. And Tuck has taken the mark. He can make the distance from here if he really goes for it, because he's a magnificent kick. Michael Tuck, high and long into the goal square. Davies from behind. Actually, it made the distance. They all misjudged it as it floated just those few metres extra through for another behind when Hawthorn badly need a goal.
14 points the difference, and 22 minutes gone in the last quarter. And Fitzroy have hung on really well after they kicked those 2 surprise goals into the breeze in this term. Ablett shrugs off a tackle. Hendry's there. Quinlan got hands to it, comes off to McCarthy. Hurried handball out to McConnon. Shepherding by McMahon. Short pass McConnell, good football. Laurie at left half back. Up to centre wing for Conlon. Tapped inboard by Russo to Knights. Now Tuck. High one back to Kennedy, who thumped it rather than take clean possession. Matthews, good handball. Back to Howard. Howard for goal. It's a good kick. Just touched on the line by Hanson and Quinlan and through for a behind.
It's a magnificent football with Quinlan lurking around that back line as well. Here comes Hanson. Scott from behind, if he makes the leap, can take it. Well done, Scotty. Over the top of Rendell, and that's a good, no mean assignment. And Don Scott has been back to the days that Hawthorn have known so well. Full of fight and bustle and endeavour. Has been an excellent ruckman. Boots it downfield. McMahon in front, can't take it. Taylor can. Taylor then screws it back, and Rendell's in front as he runs for the chest mark. But Matthews, great mark. It fell short, and with eyes fixed on the ball, Lethal Lee takes his 5th mark. The captain comes in quickly to shoot for goal. Kicks it high and kicks it long, but off direction. Out of bounds on the full.
He's kicked 1, 3 and 2 out of bounds on the full, Lee Matthews. In this last quarter, Hawthorn have kicked 7 goals 5, and rather 2 goals 5, and Fitzroy have kicked 2 goals straight. At the back, Serafini showing far too much pace for Don Scott. Leaves him standing, draws a man over the top. This is great football by Fitzroy, and away they go through Poynton. Dashing back is Manane in the goal square. Poynton's kick is going through for a score, a behind.
A few times that Fitzroy have gone forward, there's been some of the most brilliant teamwork that one could wish to see. And that was one that almost came off again. Moore straight down the centre looking for Knights. Knights in front of Matthews. Knights quickly on his left foot. Down there's David McMahon and Rick Davies behind. Spoils him, follows on well. Tuck. Free kick to Davies. Well, umpire Robinson was right beside that one. And Rick Davies has had 3 or 4 kicks and 13 to 14 hand passes. An excellent game from this South Australian star who's come across to Hawthorn. Davies' long kick, just off direction once again, and my word, time is ticking away. There's 25 minutes gone as Don Scott goes off the ground and Clayton comes on in time on period, which has happened each quarter.
Just about to tick into time on, and Fitzroy clinging to a 13-point lead. It'll take 3 kicks for Hawthorn. Matthews did well to keep it in. Punched away from Diffie Domenico by Smith. Alexander been a tyrant. Scott Clayton, number 40. Wallace. Good play, Terry Wallace. To Mew, he's tackled, loses it. Well, they're not doing enough things decisively, Hawthorn, to get it clear of the pack and get themselves shots at goal. And then when they do kick for goal, they've been missing in this last quarter.
There's been some super defensive football by Hawthorn. Robert Walls has absolutely stacked the back line in this last term, and the tactics look like being successful. Here comes Matthews again. Beautiful tackle against him. Oh, didn't he? Clip his teammate then. Clip one of those players, and Carlson's with the ball as I was watching behind the play. And Carlson takes the mark, and there's the coach, Robert Walls, who at this stage must be very, very satisfied with his own tactics and his team.
I think he'll be satisfied when the siren goes, because he can manage 3 kicks in about 30 seconds, and Hawthorn certainly have that up their sleeve. Parrish. Rendell at the back takes a fine mark, tumbling backwards. And they've possibly got over the centre line more in this last quarter than we've seen prior to this in the game. The team's running into this breeze. Matt Rendell goes for the hand pass. Serafini. Long kick into the breeze. Oh, clever mark, Peter Manane.
A very quiet player has been Manane. A good player, Kelvin Moore. Down it goes, and Laurie goes running for it. It bounces in Henry's direction. Henry's got 3 against him in Fitzroy, but here's Eade to help him. Out to Tuck. Tuck 60 metres out. A short pass across to Ablett. And punched away brilliantly by Smith. McConnon's got the chance. Tuck tackles him. Ron Alexander with it. boots it down to centre wing. Knights gets 3 against him as McMahon goes down. Knights comes out with it. Great football, Peter Knights. A brilliant return today. Looking for Captain Matthews. An awkward bounce gives the chance to Dipper Domenico. Dipper Domenico left puts it down where Hansen leads away from his opponent Rick Davies, and I think he's very happy to trundle it through for one behind. And Dipper Domenico played very badly then. He should have given the hand pass to Matthews, and Matthews has just told him so.
Hawthorn have kicked 2-7 in the last quarter to 2-1. Two straight kicks the difference as Hansen kicks in. Thumped forward by the Hawks. The ball goes out of bounds. The Fitzroy players won't mind that too much. 28 minutes gone.
It's been out of bounds 66 times today, which is an indication of the fierce wind. There's Clayton fighting and contesting, stays stuck. And last to get up was Lee Carlson, that stylish left footer who came across this season from Collingwood. Alexander, beaten by Payton, past Dipper Domenico, into the hands of Chris Smith, one of the very best players on the ground today. Has been their centre half-back, who's been such a good player for Fitzroy all the years.
Fitzroy 73, Hawthorn 61. Time running out for the Hawks. Rendell, another good mark in front of Chris Mew. 5 marks to Matt Rendell. And he started the game pretty quietly. He's getting better as the game goes on. I think he's appreciated being moved away from full forward. Quickly, back to Alexander. Up towards the centre of the ground, O'Halloran spills one. Comes to Knights, who's knocked up getting kicks, Peter Knights. In front, Laurie for Fitzroy. An important defensive mark. And I don't think there's enough time for Hawthorn.
Laurie played a magnificent second term and played well in this final one too. Out to Taylor. This is clever football to Alexander. There's the siren for a magnificent and well-deserved victory to Fitzroy. 10 goals, 13, 73, defeating Hawthorn 7-19, 61.
Two goals into the breeze at the end there, Fitzroy. Gee.
They were great. They were great. They deserved every bit of it, I reckon.
Couple of highlights. Goal by Knights, 5 minutes. And a goal by Carlson, 10 minutes. Now we'll go through and prune them. Because that goal was beautiful team football into the wind, just about won the game.
Yeah.
And even though it's the last highlight we've got, I think we've got to give it priority and make sure it gets in before anything else. Good. The goal by Carlson at 10 minutes has got to go in, I reckon, in the 6 o'clock panel discussion part of it. Knights, we'll put Knights in.
I think he must get mentioned throughout the day, yeah.
The goal, or I've edited together a mark and something or other, something else. What do you want, Doug?
I don't mind. I can remember the goal. That was beautiful. It was a long one, but I can't remember the other one.
It was a tackle on Quinlan.
That was a beautiful one, yeah.
All right, leave in the edited package of Knights the tackle on Quinlan and the mark. Now, hang on. I'll count backwards here. I'll count backwards. A goal by Carlson, 10 minutes, fourth quarter. A mark and goal, Alexander, 25 minutes, third quarter. A goal by Matthews, 16 minutes, third quarter. The edited package of Knights, which includes a tackle on Quinlan, 27 minutes, second quarter. And a mark, 11 minutes, second quarter.